remind us, what is the basic equation of a circle, Jude?
X squared plus Y squared.
Better not write in black there, hey? X, oops. So we've got x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared. And that then allowed us to go, well, that's when we have a circle which has a centre of AB, and it's got a radius of r. And so we should be able to go either way. Jaden? So if I have the equation, you should be able to tell me the centre and the radius. If you are given the centre and the radius, you should be able to give me the equation. That's right. And it started off like really, really nicely. So those who were not here, you're probably going, geez, didn't miss too much. Write down the equation of the circle with centre 5, 1, radius 2. So we'd say that's x take 5. Well, that's got x take 5 all squared plus y take 1 all squared equals 2 squared, so equals 4. That easy. Felipe, you weren't here either, so please listen, and you come late. So this one, ooh, what would we say is the equation there? X plus 6 squared plus y take 2 squared equals root 3 squared, which is 3. And then they went, oh, let's test them even further. Instead of giving you that information, what if they gave you a picture? Well, you can still get the centre out of here, can't you? Minus 1. 1, 2, 3. Had to think about that. And, what's my radius? Well, if you can count the squares, you can count the radius. It's 2. Happy days? So it can be wordy, could be as a picture. Now I think, is that all we did? But we did finish off domain. Sign diagrams. All right, so what we're up to is this one here, because now the information they're giving you, Addison, is a little bit less. And you have to find the centre and the radius. So let's have a look. Those who didn't do the earlier stuff, I think you can just pick up from where we've left off and go and do that later. But everyone, please pay attention to this. So we've got points A and B. And we want to find the equation if the centre is AB. So for part A, the first thing that I would expect you to do if you were stuck, oh, that was pretty good. Good circle. Oh, you see me do better. True. Centre A, right, we've got minus 2, 1. And we can go B. You don't even have to be specific, BB, about where we put it. So what can we do? We've got the centre. So does everyone agree we can straight away go X? Good. Take 2. So plus 2. Good. Caught yourself. Good. Plus y minus 1 squared. And this equals r squared. So this is another lesson in, even if you don't know everything, still put down what you do know, what you can. Because any takers on how we could find the radius? Who remembers? So those who weren't here yesterday, you might be thinking, oh, that could make a right angle triangle and you could find the distance between 2 points. Remember that formula? Those at home, I'm holding up a beautiful poster right up the top. Distance equals, right, that's from Pythag. Everyone see that? But the best way is that we can sub. This is your x value. This is your y value. So when we sub it in here, guess what? It will equal r squared, which is what we wanted. When in doubt, sub. So we're going to sub that in. It becomes 4 plus 2 squared plus minus 1 take 1. And we did do this last lesson, but I'm just getting us back on track and recalling our information. So 4 plus 2, 6 squared, 36 plus 4. So r squared equals 40. Therefore, the equation is now x plus 2 squared plus y take 1 squared equals 40. And we're done. And you'll be done soon. All right, the question that a lot of people were asking was, what about B? What happens if now, instead of A as the centre, what happens if those 2 points were the diameter of the circle? So again, picture it. If you don't think that's impressive, you're going to come and do it yourself. So we've got -2, 1, and then we've got 4 minus 1. So again, what 2 things do we need to find the equation of a circle? We need the center and another point, or well, center and radius. Yeah? I've got the ends of the diameter. The center would be right smack bang in the middle. Anyone remember how you find the middle of 2 things, 2 points? Doesn't even have to be 2 points, just the middle of 2 things, yep? Midpoint. What if you've got so much money you earn so much money per week, you earn so much money per week? How do we work out the average of those 2 things? You add them together and divide by 2. That's your midpoint formula, right? So your midpoint, do you remember? X1 plus X2 all over 2, Y1 plus Y2 all over 2. Do we remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so if you haven't done so, let's work out what our centre is. So we've got the centre, which means I can say, well, at least we've got X take 1 squared plus Y take 0 squared. Is everyone happy that I could just write Y squared? So plus Y squared equals the radius squared. Now, what did we say before? How could I get the radius? First option, I could work out the distance between these 2 points and then halve it. I have the centre here, which is 1, 0. I could work out the distance between those 2 points using the distance formula. And bang, that's my radius. What's the other thing that I could do? Sub it in. What can I sub in? Either one of this one or this one, because they lie on the circle. Okay? Let's do that. What point do you want to use? 4, -1. Okay, so we've got 4 take 1 squared plus minus 1 squared, and that's going to equal my radius squared. Yeah? So 4 take 1, 3. So I've got 9 plus 1. So the radius squared is 10. What would the radius be? Root 10. Correct. And don't forget, what did the question ask? So make sure that you read the question. Sometimes it's saying, find the centre and the radius. Sometimes it's saying, state the equation of the circle. Has anyone read it? Does it say state the equation of the circle? It does. Okay? Does that make sense to people? While you're getting that down, could I just ask you, if I had a point that's inside the circle and I subbed it in, what answer do you think I'd get in relation to 10? Less than 10. If I had a point outside the circle and I subbed it in, greater than 10. Yeah? So if it's inside the circle, it'll be less than the radius. If it's outside the circle, it's going to be more. It make me ask all the time. If you cannot sit without swinging, put the chair to one side and stand. Okay? So, with these ones, draw the circle. We can see straight away we've got the centre is 1, 3, and our radius is, so good, square root of 16, it's 4. So if we were just doing a rough sort of sketch, then we can happily go 1, 3. I mean, you've got little squares in your graph paper, so you can be reasonably accurate. Oh, I have to go a little bit lower. How low can you go? Oops. Probably still need a bit more space, but anyway, you'll get the gist. Okay, so we're going to go across 1, up 1, 2, 3. There's my center, but my radius is then 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. It's going to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has to go there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Has to go here. 1, 2, 2, 3. Underneath. So I have to try and draw a circle. This is challenging now. Oh, a bit disappointing on the right side. Okay, so we've got 1, 3, and we can say this is a radius of 4. I'm not entirely satisfied because what I really want is a little bit more information like this point here and then these points here. What do we call those points? X and Y intercepts. And if I want to find my x-intercept, how do I go about doing that? You make y equal to 0. Thank you very much. To find your x-intercept, make y 0. It doesn't matter if it's a parabola, a straight line, a logarithmic function, a circle, exponential function, surge. I could go on. Sine graph, cosine graph. Stop it now. So we go over here and we're going to do exactly as that says. Wherever the y is, we're going to make it 0. So we're going to keep x minus 1 squared plus 0 take 3 minus 3 squared. So happy that I can put 9. If you think I'm not going to know how she did 9, will you write the extra step? Margin. 0 take 3 minus 3, 3 squared, 9. We're good? Okay, how are we going to solve this? Hit the algebra. Let's get rid of the plus 9. Let's take 9. 16 take 9? 7. It's all right. I know why you said it. So now, how do we get to x? I could expand, but I don't want to. How do I get rid of the squared? Square root. So now it's x take 1 equals plus or minus root 7. Why should we have the plus or minus? Because when we square minus root 7, we'll get positive 7 and so on and so forth. But why else? Look at the diagram. You can see you're going to have 2 solutions. So therefore x will be root 7 take plus 1, sorry, to get rid of a take 1, we add 1, or negative root 7 plus 1. Oh. Does that make sense? So this would be the negative root 7 plus 1, and this would be the root 7 plus 1. Can you please now find your y-intercepts? Do exactly the same thing, but now solve for y, please. Got 2 things to do. So conics, some of you might not have looked at that before, but if you go into conics, so I press 9. So again, go menu. You can use your arrow keys to go down, but I just press 9 and it goes in there. And you can see the first one there. Is that a function? Is the first one here a function? No, it's not. Why not? It does not pass the vertical line test. Very good, very good. Not a function, not a function. That is a function. Look at our friend. What form is that called? Vertex form. What does this little arrow mean? It means there's more. Yeah. Okay, you can have now a quadratic in general form and cycles. Now, yes, as people have already discovered, they're very quick. When we pop this in, what is it? 1, 3. So we go, select that, we go 1, we go 3. The radius is 4. And when I graph it, it doesn't look like a circle. So this is because of your scale, right? Remember when we always go back to our scale. Where do we get our scale? Shift view window. Now we always go for standard. Let's go to initial. Right, if we go to initial, you can see that the scale changes, right? And when I now press draw, you've got this. Now you can move up and down, and I would probably then go, if you want to get the whole thing in, just zoom out. So shift, zoom, and then we've got out. And you can position, right? You can position where you actually want to zoom. Where's the center of my zoom out? I'm going to go there, and there's our nice circle. Sorry, what was that?
It looks like a good circle.
Okay, so what kind of things can we do here? All right, so when we now go G-solve, so shift G-solve, center, radius, x-intercept, y-intercept. How good is that? It's not going to give you, I don't believe, y-intercept. It's not going to give you the exact form. So if this was a test situation, all I have to do is say express the x and y intercepts in exact form. And that's what this is. This is exact. If you give it to me in decimals, no matter how many decimals you give me, that's not going to be exact because you've got an irrational number in root 7. Yeah? So by all means, you can check using your calculator that you've got the right thing going on, but you still have to do the algebra. I could probably guarantee you that sort of question. Okay. So, we've got this situation, we've got a circle that gave us the equation, and lovely question because it's asking us, I mean, for starters, is this a function? Nope, because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. So what is the domain? So what are our x values here? What does the x lie between? Would you agree it's lying between this and this? So it's not actually the x-intercepts. It's whatever this point is here. Any idea how we can work that out? How can I get the domain? Our centre, we can see here that our centre is, oh, I haven't drawn that very well. Let's change that to minus. So let's imagine our centre is 1, 2. Agreed? So how do I find this maximum distance here? How do I find that? Say it again.
You add the radius.
Yes. So this distance here, this bit here, would be 1 plus root 12. This point here would be 1 minus root 12. Ah, see, they don't see it. You see it. Right, what would the range be? 2 plus root 12, and then 2 take root 12. Now, just to remind you, if we're saying the domain, we're going to say it's going to be in between, so less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and just remind me, would you actually write root 12? No. What would you write instead of root 12? 1 plus, we're simplifying a square root, peeps.
My bad.
You're close.
No, like 1.
4. Good. So 4 times 3, so 2 root 3. So this is going to be less than 1 plus 2 root 3 and greater than 1 take 2 root 3. Right? Love it. Common sense. Fancy pants words now. So I'm saying we've talked about this. What does this symbol mean? Thank you. So we read from left to right. We're reading from left to right, not from right to left. So this, we're saying, when is this less than r squared? So would point P, is that true that point P is going to be inside or outside the circle? How could we check? Not just, it looks like it's in from the diagram, but how could we prove if we had the centre and we knew what the radius is? Yep, we'd sub it and the radius would have to be less than this. So that's all that is asking, okay? What does the region defined by this inequality? What is this defining? What region?
The inside of the circle.
No, by this, right, greater than, so we're talking about the outside. If it had equals r squared, we're talking about on the circle.
So that'd just be the radius.
Wouldn't be the rate, it would just be any point. So when it equals, it's any point on the boundary, right? Less than, it's every point within. Greater than, it's all the outside. So nothing to see here, and then you can interpret this. Psst. How would you know without drawing if these points are inside or outside the circle? Sub, that's right, sub. You get an answer less than 25, inside. You get an answer that equals 25, on the line. You get an answer bigger than 25. Okay, and question 8 is pretty much the same, they're just putting into context. So you need to make sure that you leave space to do that. We are onwards and upwards. Okay, this part here. Find in expanded form. Whoops. Shh. I'm not going to go through this bit, as in do an example. Find in expanded form. We're happy. If it's got a centre of 4, it's x take 4 squared. You would think so. And I know I don't have to point it out, but I'm going to. When you expand x take 4 squared, it's not x squared plus 4 squared, right? X take 4 times x take 4. You have a middle term. So can you make sure you're doing that and you're checking as you go? This is the one I want to go through, please. So example, what should be our heading? Finding the equation. Right, a friend of ours comes back to visit. So when we're saying from expanded form to centre radius form, what we want to do is have it in that form. So what do we have to do? No. Blank the square. Complete the square. All right. So we're going to look at our x first, and we're going to focus on the x squared plus 8x. As soon as I see that x squared plus 8x, what do I know has to go into my bracket? X plus 4. Do we agree? But when I expand this, yay, I get the x squared. Yay, I get the 8x. What else do I get when I expand this?
16.
Yes, 4 squared, 16. So I've added 16 to this side. So what can I do? I could take away 16. Why don't I just add 16 to the other side? Nice? Now we have to deal with the y's. If maths was really hard, what would happen is that y would be different. It's not. You're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to look at the y's. We're going to go, what's going to go on my bracket? Sorry? Take 3, because what are you doing? You are dividing by 2, agreed? You're halving it. So, when I expand this, oh, you know, it's not the same going through an explanation if Piper and Addie aren't talking at the same time. It's just not the same. All right, we got y squared, take 6y, but what else will I get?
9.
Plus 9. So I'm going to plus 9 to this side. Am I done? No, because we look and we see that we've still got this minus 11. But where do you want to stick it? The other side. So we're going to go plus 11, and now we tidy up. X plus 4 squared, y take 3 squared, 10, what have we got? 20, 36. So therefore, my centre is minus 4, 3, and my radius is 6.